Welcome to Taxco. Yeah, so we're spending a couple of nights up here and we're just waiting for some of Fabiola's friends to arrive. So one thing I noticed when we were driving up here, many Volkswagen Beetles, and most of them are white. And then what I came to recognise is that they're all taxis. It's awesome. So you've got all of these white Beetles, which I'll get some footage when we go into the town later, but all of the white Beetles are taxis, and they also have the camper vans, you know, the Volkswagen camper vans, the old style. White ones again, and they're taxis as well, you know, for obviously for more than the car can carry. So for all the Volkswagen lovers, if you're in Mexico, come up to Taxco. I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty crazy. We went for a walk into town in the evening, which ultimately turned into an evening of refreshments, if you get the idea, hence the lack of footage. So I think now is a good time to show you some Volkswagen vehicles, as promised. Enjoy! So there you go, there's another Beetle. We're on our last day here in Taxco, so we're just going to go for a little walk around now before we leave, and then going to head back to Cuernavaca. So no, it's been ace here, it's been really cool. I'd recommend coming here. If you're going to like Mexico City, you know, it's like 2 hours south of the city, so it's definitely worth a visit. On our walk into town, we stumbled upon a huge food market. It filled some of the narrow, windy streets. It also had an indoor area which was 4 floors full of anything and everything you can imagine.
They are making the tortillas and the chicharrón in green sauce, potatoes, chile relleno, rice with boiled eggs, ejotes, pork in adobo, and they make tacos, different dishes. Yeah, looks good.
Street food of Mexico, people.
Exactly.
Street food of Mexico. Bobby, are you going to explain for us what this is?
This is dry meat. It's called bofe.
Okay, so it's just dried out basically, really thick. Ah, is that the stuff we could see from the balcony?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, so where we were staying in a hotel, we could see some of this hanging up to dry, couldn't we?
This is the puma. This is what is inside the beef. The lungs.
The lungs.
The lungs.
What, so it's the skin of the lungs, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the skin of the lungs of a cow. Is it tasty?
I have no idea.
Ah, okay. Bien? See?
Bueno.
Well, he likes it. He likes it. So I always like to try something once, but not too sure about that in all honesty. Hello. Oh no, you're not peeing over me. You can't pee on me. No. He's just peed on me. He's just peed on my toe. Is that coconut juice? Yeah. Okay, so you got coconut slices and you got some like coconut juice for it there. Gracias, June. A little gift from June to us. So
You're gonna
it's good.
love it.
See? I'm not big on coconut, to be honest, but that was lush. That's beautiful, honest to God. Okay, so something else Taxco is famous for is silver. See? So it's very famous for the silver, and now we're just going to go to the silver market. We've just begun right here, so I'll show you some of that.
Something else I should add here is that not only do they sell silver, but there's also silver mines here, which you can visit. The oldest mine dates back to 1524.
So this is ice cream, and we're getting cheese and, is it raspberry?
Sí.
Cheese and raspberry flavour, so all handmade, straight off the street. 15 pesos, which is 50 pence.
Gracias.
Okay, gracias a ustedes.
We left Taxco and headed back to Cuernavaca, where we met up with Fabiola's folks. The following morning we all headed to Acapulco, somewhere for some strange reason I've always wanted to visit. I guess it could be down to the 80s childhood vision that us Brits have at the time. My welcome into Acapulco was wet to say the least, but that changed for a while.
Welcome back, folks. Okay, so we've just arrived in Acapulco. I'll just show you through the room first because it's pretty nice. So this is the bedroom. That's Fabiola. Fabiola the fish. Really nice big shower room thing. And then a nice little place for me to do my makeup. So we got ourselves a little kitchen area and yeah, a little lounge and a TV that's never going to get used. Let me show you the balcony. The balcony's the best thing. Welcome to Acapulco. So this is the main beach in Acapulco, if you don't know. Anyways, we're going to head down there now. Fabiola's folks are down there already. I think they're probably on the margaritas. We're going to head down there now, okay? Yeah. We can see them. Let me show you them. Hang on, let me see. Can you see the one with the yellow hat? That's Fabiola's parents.
The things some people do to keep themselves entertained in a lift. So the next few hours were spent sipping cocktails by the pool, having a good old chinwag and relaxing. Looking out onto the beach was a lovely view to have too. Lots of people walking along, selling pretty much everything under the sun. One guy got confused when I gave him the peace sign, and he thought I wanted to buy 2 ice creams off him. We got lost in translation for a while. We took a little walk along the beach before heading back up to the room to get ready to go out for dinner. All was going well until...
Okay, so we're supposed to be going out for dinner tonight, but just right now the storm's come in. That was promised, so it's chucking it down. It's basically pissing down, as you can see. But I love a good storm, so I'm quite happy, to be honest. The thunder's coming, so we've got a beautiful view to watch it from.
The rain didn't stop for a good few hours, so rather than go out for dinner, we ended up hitting the street just outside the hotel and grabbing some takeaway food for ourselves. Tacos for myself and a Subway for Fabiola. Then it was bedtime. After a little walk along the beach and some breakfast, we headed out and I got given a little tour of some of the more local beaches along the coast. The first one was called Caleta. It was pretty busy and full of local people and Mexicans on holiday. There wasn't another tourist in sight.
Only tourists in Caleta. Me gustan.
For Fabiola and her parents, this is the equivalent of us Brits being in Bognor Regis or something. A real traditional cultural beach. I absolutely loved it, and there were people there who were so friendly, you know.
So this guy just came in on his boat, basically, onto this. And he's selling these little crafts that he's made, no?
Fabiola ended up getting her hair done while we sunk a few drinks in the shade.
Salud! Salud! Salud, Bobby!
While we sat there, a couple of kids came over and offered to do us a traditional little dance for us. Local kids, especially around the Acapulco area, perform this for you in exchange for money. The dance involves singing a song while moving your stomach in a kind of wave motion. Apparently, from a Mexicana's point of view, their dancing skills weren't exactly 10 out of 10, but we still gave them some spare change for their effort. After leaving Caleta, we headed to another beach just down the coast called Pier de la Cuesta. This beach stretched as far as the eye could see, in both directions. So many people along the beach, some playing volleyball, some exercising, some just relaxing. We ended up having dinner here. We ordered a huge fish between us all, together with salad and tacos, obviously. Once the sun had gone down, we left Pier de la Cuesta and headed back down to downtown for the evening's entertainment. There's something quite famous here in Acapulco, the sea divers. These guys, brave or insane, you make your own mind up on that. They jump into the rough waters below and then climb up the sheer cliff with no safety gear, as you can see, just a pair of Speedos, so that they can throw themselves off the cliff and back into the same rough waters. Like I said, brave or insane, you make your own mind up on that. But wherever the answer was, it was very entertaining.
Well, folks, that was Acapulco cliff divers. See, so very cool, very cool. I don't know, I reckon they were like 35 to 40 meters high. It was very nice to see. Proper traditional thing here in Acapulco, from probably the 60s or the 70s maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's been a long time. 50s.
No,
even.
yeah, like the 50s.
She knows she's Mexican, I don't know. Anyway, this is our last evening
In
in Acapulco. See, so we're going to make the most of the evening and we're heading off tomorrow now. But it's been a great time. It's been really cool. I'd highly recommend Acapulco for sure. If you want the traditional Mexican experience for like, yeah, it just feels very traditional here. So. Good morning, folks. I'm going to go for a little walk down to the beach now. Fabiola's just getting herself sorted and ready. I'm just going to take myself for a little wander down onto the beach right now. So let's head there.
So as you get down to the beach from the hotel, you have these amazing rock formations in the sea just in front of you. And if you walk to the left, you could also walk amongst them. I'm sure at low tide you could have gotten round to the next part of the bay, but unfortunately I was unable to do that due to the ocean being a little rough. And when you walk the other way along the beach, you have the main strip of the beach, the strip where all the high-rise hotels and the beach bars are at. As you walk along this beautiful beach, you can't help but notice the derelict and unused buildings that run alongside it. Above them are bars and restaurants that you can access from the road above, the road that you saw from the balcony earlier. But underneath, they've been pretty much left to rot. This is because huge waves have bombarded the shore in the past, and these buildings unfortunately. And there's also the huge annual storms that hit this part of the world that add to the equation. As you can see here, so much damage done to what I guess was once a bustling, lively beach bar in the heart of Acapulco. The bar remains intact, and there's still some old remnants of the good old days. If this table could talk, I'm sure it would have a few stories to tell. I continue to walk along the beach for a while, taking in the sheer beauty of this stretch of coastline.
Hola! 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 What a life, eh? Hola! Hola!
So, after that lovely walk along the beach, we stopped off for some breakfast before heading back to Cuernavaca. We even had ourselves some free entertainment.
Sueñe
Gracias. This is the guy that was playing the music for us. Very nice guy. Mucho gusto. Gracias.
To Fabiola and her parents, this is just an everyday thing, but to me, it was just pure enjoyment. The drive back was very pleasant, passing Puerto Marquez Bay and stopping off quickly at another beach called Barra Vieja. While I took in the scenery, someone caught up on some sleep. Well, I guess she's seen these roads a fair few times, not like Mr. Tourist here. Fabiola and I spent the next couple of days in Cuernavaca relaxing, and I didn't do any filming whatsoever. Well, I went for a walk on my own downtown one afternoon and followed Google Maps, which took me through some local areas to say the least. I did record a little bit of that. To me it was fascinating, but not so much to Fabiola. Here's her response by text. After talking to her, I can understand her concern. Probably not the best place for a lone tourist to be, but I do love a bit of culture. From there we headed back to Mexico City to spend the remainder of my trip with her family and friends. Just to relax, she said. Nothing planned, she said. And then this happened. Fabiola had only gone and organised a surprise Mexican birthday party for me, inviting most, if not all, of her family in the city and some of her friends. She went all out. She got loads of traditional trimmings, hung them up around the house, courtesy of her auntie and uncle, and even got me this amazing piñata made. I mean, how cool is that? And then there was this amazing cake. But I must say, the most fun part was cracking the piñata open. My first ever experience, and an experience I will never forget. It's fair to say it took a good few beatings before it cracked. Even Fabiola's grandma got involved. This day couldn't have been any more Mexican if it tried. We had karaoke for what seemed like all day long, courtesy of the women. And Fabiola's auntie cooked us up a load of her specialities, pambazos, one of my favourite things to eat here in Mexico, especially her secret recipe. It's fair to say that my first Mexican birthday party was one to remember, and it's also fair to say that Fabiola knows how to keep a secret. Gracias por la sorpresa, Miss Sanchez. On the day I was leaving, and on the way to the airport, Fabiola's father took me for some tacos to his local haunt to fill me up before the flight. And wow, they were delicious. And then it was home time.
So here I am, back in the UK. This is a couple of weeks after my return. I've done a 2-week quarantine. Everything went really smoothly on the way home. Both flights, the one from Mexico City to Amsterdam and the one from Amsterdam to Heathrow, both very good flights. So thank you Aero Mexico and British Airways for making this trip possible through these difficult times. So much appreciated. I just wanted to mention one thing before I go on this video, and that was the way I found the Mexicans dealing with this situation, you know, with this pandemic. Coming from the UK, we have so much fear put into us through the media, you know. That's all you see, that's all you hear, and it's just created this massive fearful kind of vibe, you know. And when I went over to Mexico, the first thing I instantly noticed is that people were very aware of the virus and the pandemic, but they weren't allowing it to rule their life, to let it fear them, you know. They just carried on with their days. Everything was very safe over there. When you go to restaurants and everything, it was very well set out, you know. Everyone was distanced, and I think it was a 30% capacity in all places at the time. So in the UK, where I'm from, like I say, it's people have been getting paid 80% of their wage. It's called a furlough. So everyone's been quite, you know, okay through this whole thing because they've been getting paid whether they're working or not. Whereas in Mexico, they don't have that privilege, you know. It's either they're open or they're closed. If they're closed, then don't get nothing. So they're having to work their way around things, you know. Very clever, really. And it's a great thing because the economy and everything hasn't crashed. Everything's kind of staying open. Obviously less customers than what they'd usually have, but it's better than closing down, right? And I just noticed that instantly, you know. And also their mentality towards it, the way they they were still quite upbeat, you know. They weren't just concentrating on this virus and that's it. It was, they were getting on with their day, they were enjoying themselves, they were laughing and joking, and I don't know, I just really noticed how different the vibe is in the UK here. Right now, this is in September 2020, compared to when I was in Mexico, where you were aware of the virus being there and the whole situation, but that wasn't just the only thing going on there, you know. Like, they had, it's just everything else was continuing, whereas in the UK it seems like everything's closed down, everyone's just talking about the virus and blah blah, you know. I don't want to rant on too much, like, because I don't want to start going down that path of what's right and wrong and things like that, but yeah, you know, going from one country to another through this thing and seeing how they experience it and they how they go about things, it's just opened my eyes a lot again to how in the UK we are just so focused on the fear. So if there's one thing I can say, is that don't go off the mass media too much. I'm not going to preach or anything like that, but honest to God, it's just making everyone really fearful. Anyways, on a lighter note, there's another reason why I'm in this kind of empty field, and that is because I bought myself a little toy. So I'm really happy, I'm really chuffed to bits with it. I'm just going to leave you now with a little shot from the sky. So until the next video, take care and have fun, folks.